Greetings and namaste. This is Dr. Dave DiSano. And Neil deGrasse Tyson, famed astrophysicist, doesn't know what he's talking about. On a recent podcast, I believe it was Star Talk, he was asked, what happens when we die? And he described bodily death, how the body physiologically shuts down and everything stops. And then eventually the brain dies. And then he went on to say, we really don't know what happens after that or if there's any proof of life after death. Now, what he should have said was, I don't have any research in this subject. When he says we really don't know, he's insinuating that science doesn't know anything about what happens when we die. Now, I'm here to tell you, for the last 50 years, I've been researching this topic, and there is a tremendous volume of research out there to tell you exactly what happens when we die. And we call this experiences, one of the aspects we call is near death experiences. And I'll have a list of these books in conclusion. But Ray Moody, his most recent book, Proof of Life After Life, talks just about that significant proof of people dying and returning. And again, Dr. Ray Moody, coined the term near death experiences back in the 1970s. So he's done considerable research on this subject of what happens when we die. There's also Dr. Ken Ring, who researches near death experiences. And he talks about thousands of cases and the similarities between these cases of people having testimonies of exactly what happens when we die. Sam Parnia is a resuscitation expert, and in his book Erasing Death, he again talks about clinical experiences, research of people having the same experiences of consciousness leaving the body and then reporting what happened. Then, if we talk about reincarnation type experiences, Dr. Brian Weiss talks about his experiences of regressing thousands of people over a period of 20 years of previous lives. And again, this is clinical experiences being the same type of experiences. Dr. Michael Newton in Destiny of Souls, he talks about the time between lives. And again, a 50-year career of researching and regressing thousands of people, the time between lives, he talks about exactly what happens when we die. To summarize all these books, it's our book, Divinely Touched. This is chronicles my wife Mary DiSano's experiences where the spirit dimension attacked her, and then I went on to do research on the subject of can the spirit dimension exist and what happens exactly when we die. So we researched and report findings of probably 200 similar type books in our research. So when Neil Tyson talks about, I really don't know exactly what happens when we die. He should have left it at that because there's a huge volume of research talking about exactly what happens when we die. So he's doing a tremendous disservice to the public when he says, we really don't know what happens when we die. Because if we do some research on the subject, we really do know what happens when you die. Thank you and namaste. And you can go to divinelytouch.com for more information on what Mary and I do in our book.